So this represents the major critical stakeholders in the real estate sector. Barrister sir. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'll be introduced to you. And as you know, our focus on this program today is affordable housing in Nigeria, possibility, probability of fluke. Our keynote speaker today has spoken and he gave us an in-depth analysis on what is going on in the sector. I'm going to give my panelists 3 minutes each, and I'm going to start with the Vice President of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, who is supposed to be one of the speakers. He's going to be the first person to talk to us. We need you to talk to us using the perspective of an estate developer who is on the field, who is feeling the pinch of some of the government policies. What is your whole position about affordable housing? Is it possible? What can government do? What are you doing in your home side?
Yeah, thank you, Barrister Festus. Once again, my name is representing the Real Estate Developer Association of Nigeria, REDAN. Affordable housing, just like our keynote speaker, Mr. Akin Ogunlero already mentioned, affordability is relative, right? So, having established that fact, it's also very important to look at what we consider to be the causes, probably the effect, and the solution. Right? I like to give these statistics. I'm a strong advocate of environment, and I mean environment to a large extent influences your thought pattern. It influences the way you think, and so if environment is not ideal, an ideal environment for me is an environment that will boast of basic amenities and infrastructures. Right? If environment is not ideal, it impacts on your thought pattern. And as a man thinking is hard, so is he. So that's why the chances of someone raised in Ikoyi or Banana Island, the chances of him to succeed is higher than someone raised in Oshi or Ajegunle, because they are both victims of the environment. So the more reason why governments need to pay more attention to the environment. Now, the affordability, I mentioned that is relative. However, I like to look at the socio-economic strata that we have, the conventional one. You know, we have the apex, where we have the high-income earners, then the middle-income earners, and the base of the pyramid is where we have the low-income earners. Interestingly, this is where we have the majority of people that are affected with affordability. Right now, the base of the pyramid that is made of the low-income earner also is divided into the lower cadre and the upper cadre. Now, in Nigeria today, you are considered to be a low-income earner if your take home at the end of the month, either from your business or from your 9-to-5 work, is probably less than the 250,000. Right? So you can imagine the number of people we have at the base of the pyramid in Nigeria who are dealing or battling with inability to own their home because the purchasing power is not there. Right? So affordability for me, we've got to tackle a whole lot of stuff. Majority, as said by the keynote speaker, will be driven by the government. However, we need to start paying attention to certain things. One of such will be, for me, consumer behavior. Right? When I mean consumer behavior, the consumer in this part of the world still have this mindset of the conventional construction methodology, bricks, mortar, and all that. Now, if we must start manufacturing houses that we need, unfortunately, we don't even have accurate data in Nigeria. Everything is estimated, including housing deficits. Our population is estimated as a nation. The housing deficit we have as a nation is also estimated. There's no actual data of the deficit we have as a nation, not even from the Statistics Bureau. Now, having established this assumption, if we must deal with this, we need to deal with the consumer's behavior. We must look beyond having a 3-bedroom for me and I alone and start embracing other methodology that is outside of construction methodology. Because we must move beyond building houses into manufacturing houses. If we must arrest this menace or address this menace of housing deficit, increasing housing deficit, consumers' behavior must change. I remember some few years ago, some individual organization were driving dry construction, and it was not acceptable by consumers with different excuses. Oh, there is probably there is no bullet penetration, whatever, the sound. If we must address this menace, our consumer must change their mindsets. So that's number one for me. And if changing their mindset will require that we embrace innovative construction technologies. We must embrace so we must go beyond the norms, right? Like what is going on, like it was mentioned in Egypt, mentioned in China, and so on, Japan particularly. Even Rwanda, we must go beyond the norms and embrace that. That would be my number one. Then we also must tackle capacity building. It is a big shame that we have to export expatriates from Togo, Cameroon, and Ghana to deal with some of our basic things. So we must, and this is one of the things Reda want to focus on, right? We want to encourage artisans. So we are also calling on the general public beyond the government. Let's focus. I wouldn't say the 4 walls of our university institution is overemphasized. I wouldn't say that. However, there are other means of education beyond the 4 walls of our universities. People can be educated on skills. I mean, we lack, the challenge we have in this industry with artisans, we have challenge with competence, capacity, and character. A number of these artisans lack competence. They don't even know what to do. There is no attention to details. And coupled with the fact that they don't even have a capacity, they are not building capacity, and you can't trust them. So these are issues we have. If we must solve if we must provide solution to affordability, I'm going to yield the floor why I mentioned this last one, which is considered to be very important. Now, Reagan being an advocacy group, we also want to promote best practice among developers. Developers are the ones that bridge the gap between the demand and the supply. So we want to promote best practices among developers. Doing the right thing, standard operating procedure that is globally acceptable. Right? We've had about sharp practices as mentioned by our facilitator and even the speakers, particularly Barrister Festus, that focuses on advocacy. We have a number of our developers who are not doing it right. Some of us who are privileged to practice rather in the United States and some other African country, we've come to embrace, you can't get it right doing it the wrong way. It's just a common saying. You can't keep doing the same thing, same way, expecting a different result. So, as a developer, we are driving at Radar. Every one member of Radar, particularly developers in Nigeria, must embrace best practices. Right? We must embrace best practices in delivering our products. Our wares must be abound in terms of turnaround time, in terms of quality delivery, in terms of customer satisfaction, and even after sales services that we lack in Nigeria. I'm going to give the floor at this point so we can have take this for your time.
Thank you so much. I allow him to speak that because he's supposed to have delivered his own paper, and that's why. So in case I don't give you enough time, understand that he's supposed to have to So, can we give him a round of applause, please? Still on the same issue of affordable housing that brought us together here today, I want to go to the architect in the house. I want to hear your perspective. You people are the ones designing the houses. How does the design of the houses, how does it affect the cost of the houses? What is your thinking as an architect? We have just reconstituted your board of ACO today. While I'm here, they just sent me the picture. So please tell us your perspective on this matter of discussion.
Thank you very much. More often than not, people think architects are magicians. Architects are not. You cannot manufacture space, but you can manage space. However, there are socio-cultural aspects to these things, and some of them include acceptability. My friend here mentioned technology-driven innovations, use of alternate materials and building systems. The fact is that until these things become culturally acceptable, it's been offered. Unfortunately, these are alternate technologies and materials that are at times up to 40-50% cheaper than the current brick and mortar we normally use. There are several things architects consider if you are an architect or what you're being called an architect. It is not just the immediate cost of construction. Consider the cost in use, maintenance, facility management over the lifetime of a building. Unfortunately, there is too much concentration on the initial investment. However, yes, there is something I noted here which I don't want to forget. That is capacity building, which you mentioned. I would want Reagan to consider the issue of partnering with professional bodies. In this regard, yes, I'm an architect, but I want you to consider partnering with the Nigerian Institute of Building in terms of the institute assisting you to train and certify artisans throughout the building chain. Okay? You don't need a certification. Incidentally, I'm also an academician. All right? But then, we lay too much emphasis on paper qualification. It is the skills that we need to at affordable rates. If you can partner with Nigerian Institute of Building, for example, it's not a question of somebody knowing mathematics, pass JAMB, pass this, pass that. All you need, although there has to be some level of quality assurance, that is why you may need some kind of certification. The institutions the government had set up prior to this to train artisans has been corrupted. I think we have serious issues with corruption and integrity in Nigeria. The so-called technical colleges here and there, grade 1, trade test, blah, blah, blah. Most people now just go there to collect a certificate without going through the training.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you give me a round of applause? Now we'll be going to the next person. Somebody told me, one of the commissioners I met in one of the states in the northern part of the country. He told me that one of the problems of the prices of housing is caused by realtors, those agents. We are here today to discuss to find solution to this issue of affordability for housing. As a realtor, who are doing the business, who are doing on the field, in what way do you think issue of affordability that the Redan Vice President complained about, that is bothering him, that is even also bothering the organizer of this program? How can your own organization, as a realtor, the mission of your business, I said they accuse you of being the one increasing, having your food to make the price of your house. What is your own perspective on how we can get affordability in the area from those who need the houses?
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to say thank you to the organizers for the opportunity, and my special regards to everyone on the panel here. Mr. Lee, you're putting me on the spot to speak on behalf of everyone. Alright, my name is Goodness Usman. Of course, I'm a realtor, and I'm not the queen of landlord makers. I want to again say thank you. This is really very key, and I'm going to address the quote that is very popular. When there's even, like Mr. Tony was saying earlier, there's uncountable cases actually of people being defrauded by developers, and then when they are mentioning this case, we're not left out. So it's the realtors, they are the one, they're the thieves, they're the da. And to be honest, there is a right to it, and then there is a no to it, because to every rumor they say, it all boils down to corruption. I mean, some realtors are in the business to, it's just about the money. For somebody like me, is not about the money, to be honest, because when you get into an industry, after a while, you build a brand, you realize it's not even about the money. Now, breaking it down to affordable housing, to be honest, I always have this headache to say, why is it that it is so difficult for us, as big as Nigeria is, as much as we have brilliant minds in Nigeria? Because the truth is, anywhere all over the world that I am, I'm proud to be in Nigeria because we have brilliant minds in Nigeria. So I wonder, why is it so difficult? Now, I'm going to pick my very first point why it is difficult for affordable housing to be achieved. Even though people like Mr. Nini is doing everything to make it possible, there are no affordable housing right now. That's just the truth. No matter how Mr. Nini and a couple of other developers are trying, it is not realistic. And it all boils down to first thing, corruption. Now, it's so bad. It has eaten into the entire system. It's that bad. Let's break it down to artisans, like you were saying. We don't have good hands, right? You will find out that even the little ones we have, there's even corruption. So he is developing the project now. He has a very good mind about it, and then he brings in hands that are supposed to be good hands to take care of different aspects. And then you find them not also committed to delivery. So I feel like before we start putting the whole corruption, quote and unquote, on the entire government, we should start with ourselves. Everyone in this room. How are we playing a part to this? Whether you and I like it or not, if you're watching me online, if you're not watching this live, you're watching a recorded version, it starts with you and I always advocate for it. Now, what do I mean? Let's break it down to the little things. If I do my bit right, say I'm a realtor, He says he wants to sell his property. I'm not overloading. I mean, that does not happen with me, but that happens in the industry. That starts with you, right? Now, you are a consumer. He was talking about how we should bring innovative ideas. Because I always wonder, you travel to African countries, Western countries, you see the way these houses are built, and I'm like, does it have to be cement? Why can't these developers do something else? Because, I mean, I'm not a developer yet, but I mean, right? I don't know what it takes. But when you meet with people who have been in those decades, you realize that God sees their heart, but they just realize it's not possible. So, when we all try to be the best version of ourselves, then we can truly, truly start the work of reforming Nigeria as a whole. Because when government also puts in the policies, it is we, these humans, that will not make sure, we will make sure that we sabotage these policies. There are so many factors that is affecting all of this. Let's look at mortgage systems. I always wonder, we say that mortgages work. Earlier you were saying that it works, go work. I'm a realtor, I'm on the field. It doesn't really work. Because something that works means that 50% of that thing, that's what I mean by definition of work. Now, I have clients who have bought properties far back 2019, 2020, via mortgages. They have a pile up, that's what they tell you. They've not even been sorted out. The money has not been paid to the developer. Now the client is asking the developer to deliver after 4 years. And then the developer is telling them, federal mortgage system, tell me that they cannot pay me because they have backlogs ever since COVID. So the question is, what is causing the delay in that mortgage system facility itself? What is causing a backlog? I don't understand it. Now, it still boils down to data. Why don't we have data? Who is going to computerize this data? Is it not we human beings? So it starts with you and I. You work in a government environment. You're being employed to do the job. Do you do your job well? Do you do your job well? So if we all start doing our own bits well, I feel like we can overall, in a way, start to mitigate all of these things. Because if you look at it, this is wild. So from my own angle, I'm here to say, I have a lot of expectation for developers, by the way. So let me not just go there, because if I go there, it's always this developers expectation, realtors expectation. Please, rounding this up to all our developers in the house. Please, I know you guys are trying, but you can do better. What do I mean? Why is it that when Mr. A goes to this point, Mr. B follows? Everybody seems to. I know it's a Nigerian factor, by the way, but please, can we change that? Why is that everybody follows the same pattern? Kilo day, Mr. A comes, Sally is building apartment, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. Next thing, goodness, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. Next thing, Shoki. Is that Shehu and goodness cannot think of something else? Because that way, if we are all thinking differently, thinking innovatively, in the best of their capacity, by the way, my commissioner, minister mentioned earlier, he gave kudos to all of us. We are doing the job that the government is supposed to do, by the way. So kudos and shout out to both realtors and developers in the building and every other stakeholders. But please, let's not follow one place. We can be innovative because you guys are doing a lot as a developer, so you can still be innovative with it. Thank you.
My sister, a very beautiful round of applause. He said, let the change begins from you. Let the change begins from you. Let us all start the change from our corner. Yes, I'm aware that the mortgage, please take note of my work here. I never said mortgage system is working. I have said the mortgage system is not working. And in fact, that statement I've said, if they are here, they fear that I'm the one saying that. And correct. I have somebody who has just contacted me. They want us to do a special report on them because they want to go to the stock market to raise funds, and they need us to be mentioning them on AIT. We're going to stay on our platform so that people can invest in them. So do I believe? I must inform you also that Federal Mortgage Bank, they've changed from 15 million naira to 50 million naira. So they changed it. However, just my friend that just mentioned some things to you, your generation cannot tolerate some of those bottlenecks. So there's need for innovation. And that's one of the things I want to take away from you. We are calling for innovation. And if it is follow they are doing in Lagos, I also want to recommend them to please come on a 1 week retreat in Abuja, so I can expose them and let them know that in Abuja it is not about follow. What we have in Abuja is a keen competition. That's what we have in Abuja. This one we go to Dubai and bring one star. The other one we go and bring one name. The other one. So I'd like to move to the next person. My brother, you are a building materials man. Our brother exchange is not helping us. And you keep importing building materials for us. And now we are gathering here, burdening our head on how to get affordable housing. How would that be possible when you are importing building materials? So what do you have to tell us as a solution from your perspective of a manufacturer of building materials? Because I don't know how many percentage of your product are sourced here. And I know maybe you are facing the problem of how to get enough dollars. We need your whole solution to this problem.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Fantastic contributions thus far. I've really learned one or two insights as to this discussion. I think one important thing, let us go to numbers briefly. If we look at the total worth of the real estate industry, it's about $136 billion. Now, $136 billion growing at a figure of 3% year on year. And this study was done over a 5-year retrospective study. What it just shows is that there is the opportunity in Nigeria. Now, one shocking thing I must tell you, moderator, sir, is 90% of these materials are actually imported. So that is putting a lot of pressure on completing house projects, which will now impact you and so forth. But what do we need to do as a team? I think what we need to do as a team is, look inward into innovation. Now, innovative building solutions are very, very important as it's right now. And if we must look into innovative building solutions, we should also look at the areas or the countries that have similar retail data as we do. An example would be India, Pakistan. How are they building houses there and how are they accommodating over 1.2 billion people in such a... If we bring maybe 35% of that knowledge base here, what does that now return to us? That's number one. So I will give you an example. I was in Abuja and a friend of mine, he went to IFE, I went to ABU, and he told me that for him, when he wants to build platform, when he wants to build deckings these days, as they call it, he says he doesn't use concrete. Why should he? You understand? He uses blocks and he fills in the beams with concrete solutions and he said, am I parking the car in the unity furniture that is going to be on top of that thing? And he said he learned this thing in Germany. And why can't we you just need to calculate the load factor that is coming on that building and apply it accordingly. Finish. The other thing I would like to say is that the company I represent, which is CTW, we build walls. And there are 4 stages of building walls. The first is just brick setting, the second one will be plastering, the third one will be skimming, which our artisans call screeding, and the third one will be painting. And our solutions for screeding, for instance, we got it from India, and I can tell you that tomorrow we are bringing a whole factory of that same solution in Nigeria, because it's not worth it, carrying forex every day to go and look for this thing. So we are bringing it here because the raw materials are here. Now, calcium, what do you call this? Limestone is very healthy on walls. It makes the wall breathe. But our practices today is you put gum, you put white cement, you put emulsion, and you suffocate that wall. At the end of the day, you have blistering, you have flaking, and you have all sorts of things. Because the capillary action from the soil will continue to go through the blocks. And the block will want to discharge it and will force it against the
occlusion that you wrongly done. Why is it that the pyramid of Giza is still standing till today? It is because they are breathing. And that is the solution will come. A friend of mine, a colleague of mine has it here. I mean, very sure. Home sure screening solution is what we have here. And for us, you put it, you go to bed, rest, no issues. And what again do you want to do? You just need to add water to this solution. Nothing else. Just add water to the cement and you apply it, and the setting time is not as fast to give you wastages that you see on site. You understand? Because the other one would dry fast. Then you now see when you calculate that, according to research, about 11% of the material is wasted on the floor of the site. So how do you want to do it? Then one of our panelists there also talked about a very important thing, and it is sustainability. And for us in CTW, sustainability, we now put it into human. I will shock you here. Believe you me, a builder will advise a homeowner, please, let us do it like this. But the homeowner will say, Baba Sikara Kilesi. He will still want to have that artisan, because that artisan will claim he's building for 35 years. Honestly, he will say, Baba Sikara, no, they don't do it like this. I said, seriously, last week I went to a site. I told the site owner, you only need a 30-40 liter heater here. Because at the end of the day, what is your in-use cost of energy at the end of the day? The bricklayer was telling you that, toilet, what do you call this thing? Water heater. I said, for seriously? And you're in a band A area. Do you know how much that will cost you in the long run? What you just need here is copper pipes that will channel that water from this. If you go to the US, you go to the UK, it's only one system. So let us localize the way we do it. We look at global practices and we localize it here. So my submission at this point. Thank you very much, sir. I will give you the round of applause.
There's something I wanted you to do, but you did not do it for me. But when I come back, and then you'll be rounding up. The Vice President of the State Development Association mentioned something very important. He said we should stop building houses. The conventional. If I buy a thing that way, if I buy a make that way.
I just want to be clear. You know you're saying the man too. One community. You are talking about. That's what I'm saying now.
We cannot solve the problem of the geometric production the way we are having children producing, graduate every year, professionally.
I need to
So
take
we are
forever.
coming back to you. Come and tell us. What we are to building material. We are looking for one that can be manufacturing in a month, 500 units. You know what I'm saying? We are coming there, so be ready for us what we tell us. And also we are looking for alternative to cement. Cement have been a serious issue. My great grandfather's time, there was no cement, and the houses are still standing in our village. Get ready for me to answer that question. Then I'll be going to Madam. Madam, there is a statement that says consumer behavior. And you run a cooperative. How we are talking about women housing. In Abuja, we have women housing. And I remember I supported them to get some funding through the former Minister of Women Affairs in Family Home. So I'm giving you an hint. There are privileges that women have that men don't have. So if you don't know how to do it, we'll teach you how to do it. Just organize yourself very well. But the question I'm going to you is the consumer behavior. If this my friend, this Madam Liato, I see her she's aggressive. I'm going to get her car because she needs it. If she decides to say 2-bedroom, I say 2-bedroom for 10 million. This is Salah. buy one land and take RAM. I don't know where they got that method. I've been looking for. I'm in this town now. Okay, you're part of them. Perfection. I think the father of that is Adra Om. Record me. Because I'm asking you for why all these things. Come. Somebody came to meet me that he bought land. And he has already paid 5 million. He could not show him the land. Then I asked him whether he collected RAM. He now said he collected RAM. I said, Madam, go back. So please, Madam, tell us about this consumer behavior. These consumers are very gullible. What do you want to say? They like free things. They go for all those promos that can never be genuine. How can this solve our housing problem? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Before I continue, I want to actually appreciate the organizers of this program, in which I came as I just kept saying it's beautiful, it's beautiful. I hope everyone here is actually participating and listening to everything. I'm on my phone taking notes, typing, sending, saving notes, because at the end of the day, your being here is to take home as much information as possible to use not only for today but for tomorrow. Very important. Okay, now to the question. Real estate is something everybody now is dying for. So how do customers react to promos? That's what they're asking me. The problem is the Nigerian system itself actually thrives on AWUF. Let me put it that way. Most people thrive on what we call AWUF. Even in the natural market scenario, when people want to go to buy things from you, they want to wait when you're doing sales. They won't want to come and buy when your product just comes. They want to wait. So when you're tired of waiting to make the money, then you want to declare sales. And guess what? When they come to buy on sales, what happens? The goods they're buying are staying in the shop, right? Most of them are close to expiring dates. Some of them, if they are clothing or shoes, they are still wearing off, right? They'll buy them at that rate, and they come back to me and say, Madam, that shoe, I said, but you put them on clearance. Okay? So the reaction that we, fall victim of is, I won't call it greed. I'll call it something that's once in the system, wanting to have the best bargain for what we are getting, right? But not understanding that real estate doesn't really work that way. I also try, whenever I see those promos, I always call the people, are you sure? You're giving all this back, are you calculating the money? Because some of my clients will tell me, oh, I'm buying this, that is a factor of the money of the bag and rice, sell the bag and buy it. I have some clients say that. Or, are you sure they'll give you the land at the end of the day? If they are spending so much money, buying bags of rice and all that. So those are the reactions I get from my clients. Unfortunately, I don't really have clients I go to. I already have a system, like you said. My system is, my dream came from the same factor that drove Perfection Real Estate to do what they do. We've seen a lot of women being homeless. Seen a lot of widows not having homes for their children because their husband that was the breadwinner is gone and they could not afford to pay landlord and the landlord throws them out on the road. That was the passion that kickstarted the women empowerment for me. Because I had to fend for a lot of women, I had to go to a lot of people, ask them to support me to get homes for these people. We have to start looking out for people that have built homes that they can allow to accommodate people, and when you go and you find it, they'll say, that home is filled, this one is filled. So I went into that and see how I can partner with real estate companies here and there to be able to get these women to have a sense of ownership of a property, right? So the reaction is always the association. And that's so when you put down, if you notice when I want to sell, I don't sell more on that promo area. The promo is there, I will not market it that much. I am actually letting people know you're coming to buy. So if they now see the bag of rice, so I am giving this. I'm saying, well, they're giving you because of the festive period. I'm not telling them it's because you're buying like this and then you're getting bag of rice. I don't ever do that on my own. So that also is a way for real estate realtors to real estate developers to make more sales. It's not really the bag of rice, but people really want to know the authenticity of this. I do not partner with so many real estate. I capture one or two, I investigate them, I work with them, I see their turnover, I see the level of deliverables. That's some top real estate company in this axis I don't partner with. Why? Because I've seen along the line there are lots of chaos about people complaining about them not being able to deliver. Okay? So realtors, I thought my realtor partner was going to talk about that, need to be also very sensitive, because at the end of the day, what people say is, you've taken me to go and buy a property, you've eaten your commission, and you leave me without any help. You leave me hanging. So it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be more about you're collecting your commission. It should be more about following your clients to the end, making sure they are satisfied, because at the end of the day, it falls back on everybody. Our integrity. I keep telling one thing to Mr. Lee, which he knows me. I defend my integrity anywhere. If I'm not able to defend my integrity for those, I won't be able to be trusted. Mention my name anywhere when you want to get property. They will say, if person tells you go there, go there. Why? Because I've been able to work with people. I will fight for them, he knows. Even if it takes me to call him 2 a.m. in the night, I will call him for the sake of my client. I will make sure I'm there till the client is 100% satisfied. So it's not about the promo, it's about we ourselves making our clients understand what is behind real estate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can you give a moment? Mommy, I want to suggest to you, you have good ideas. Go and form a foundation on Home for the Widows. Home for the Widows. You understand? A lot of them are police, military, and they cannot continue to put their house and these women are being pushed out of the house. Please, go and tell God to give you the idea and those people to explain to you. I don't know how to explain something to you. I got to explain. Now let me go to the Mahabizagi. Why Real Estate Developer Association of Nigeria have their membership from individuals. You have your membership from state government. You have LSDPC, you have the State Housing Corporation, you have Enugu State Housing Corporation. Now that means that you have some knowledge of what is going on as related to solving housing, affordable housing. Please, in 3 minutes, what is the situation? What is the way forward?
Thank you, moderator. Well, when we talk about affordability, like Obuniro established earlier, it's a generic name. So, what is affordable to you may not be affordable to the other party. But if we were to look at it generally, we have to create a basis for determining affordability. And in this case, we have to look at the people that actually need housing. It's not about mass producing housing in this country. And the challenges we are having is that in building, particularly by most developers, they don't do need assessment of those who need houses. They just believe that, well, we are out to make money and there are buyers. And we know people who can afford those houses. For instance, in Abuja, you have so many houses that have been developed, no occupants, no buyers. And the same thing is happening in Lagos here.
most of the houses, particularly in this corridor, are not affordable. And they will never be affordable. So because the people that actually need houses don't live around here. And so the people who are sleeping under the bridges, the civil servants who have worked 20, 30 years, they retire, they have no place to keep their head. These are the people that need houses. And it is also important for us to recognize that all of us cannot be homeowners. All of us cannot buy houses. So, and that is why in the need assessment, we need to prioritize the kind of houses we need to produce for the people. And that is why when you are talking about building, you must also talk about rental housing, which is one of the areas that have been neglected in this part of the country. So, if you are talking about affordability, you look at it from the people who need houses. We do a need assessment, and when you have to consider affordability, you have to look at the pocket. And if you look at the minimum wage that we currently have in this country, is they said it's 30,000 naira. I don't know, because they are still debating how much they're going to increase it. And according to the World Bank report, recently they said that an average Nigerian live on $2.5 per day. So how can they buy houses with such money? It is not possible. So when the way to go is that government must be committed. And unfortunately, our government are not interested in housing. I have been in this sector for over 15 years, and I have been to all the states of the federation, and I have the privilege to relate with all the governors in housing. Most of the state housing corporations that were building houses, that we see that emanated into what we call housing estate today, are done by housing corporations of old. And by that time, you see government allocating money funds for them to do housing. Yes, we recognize that the need of government has increased. But if we must move forward, government must take the lead. They must embark on strategic social housing for the low-income group that cannot afford to.
Let me give you an example. Except for those who cannot afford. You are aware that there are some people cannot afford. You know? That government must involve. That is the request. That is it. And he also accused the government that they don't have interest. There's no interest. Just yesterday,